Hello, everybody. Carlton T. Clay here with WJBF News Channel 6 Digital, and today I am here with a Grammy-nominated producer who has local ties. Today I'm here with Charles Chizzy Stevens. Hello, sir. How you doing today?
What's going on? I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm good. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk with us today. First of all, congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on being Grammy nominated, man, on your work on Chris Brown's latest album, Breezy. How are you feeling about that, man?
Man, I'm excited. That's always been like one of my goals since, I've been making music. It's like, I would love to be nominated for a Grammy. So I was definitely excited for that.
What category are you nominated for the Grammy?
Yeah, it's best R&B album.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. So let's take it to the beginning. How exactly did you get started with music?
Yeah, honestly, I've kind of always loved music. Like my first memory that I can think of where I kind of started looking into like who was behind the scenes was when Eminem and Dr. Dre were kind of on the scene. And around that time, I just started like really diving into like the credits of like who a producer was and what a keyboardist was and like all the different roles of that. And that just kind of got my wheels kind of turning. And then being at Davidson, I played the trumpet. So I was in band all the way from like sixth grade to 12th grade. So I already had a musical background. And then probably while I was like in probably like the 10th grade, me and a couple friends from Davidson, we all started a rap group. And in the rap group, we was all rapping, but we needed somebody to do the beats. And I was like, well, I like music. I like Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre found him a rapper and started doing the beats for him. So I was like, maybe I can do that for the group. And so I started teaching myself how to make beats and produce. And that kind of basically essentially got it started. But yeah, it all came from that musical background that I kind of already had from being in band.
Awesome, awesome. So now, as you mentioned, you are a graduate from Davidson Fine Arts School right here in Augusta, and you also graduated from Full Sail University. How did your education play a role in your career?
I definitely think it played a big role. I think, especially with Davidson, just being around so many different types of people and personalities and creatives, and just being around artists, I think allowed me to be able to create freely and not be ashamed to pursue something in like a creative industry. Because a lot of people, when you hear like, "Oh, I want to be a musician or a producer or artist," the first thing that says, "Well, is that a real job? Like, you need to find a real job." And
Right.
I think just being around those types of people just allowed me to be like, yo, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. So I definitely thank my parents for putting me in Davidson because I didn't want to go at first, quite honestly. I wanted to play sports with the homies. But so yeah, and then when I got to Full Sail, just once again, just being around those same type of people, like musicians, creatives, engineers, and that just allowed me to like network with people who had the same goals as me.
That's what's up, man. That's good, man. They're very good. Now, you produced and wrote on Chris Brown's previous album, Indigo. So I know people want to know, like, how did you get connected to Chris Brown? Because he's a phenomenal
Yeah.
artist, and it's so cool to have an Augusta tie-in to such a great artist. How did all that happen?
Honestly, it's so random. It honestly goes back to like 2014 or 2013, somewhere around there. I had met a producer who was working with Chris Brown at the time. I just reached out to him on Twitter, and I was just like, "Hey, I'm a producer. I got some beats or whatever." And he was like, "Yeah, send me a pack." So I sent him a pack of beats, and then I didn't really hear anything probably for about a year, honestly. So yeah, this was like early 2013, and then I get an email that's just like, "Hey, we got a song with Jennifer Lopez," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I mean, I'm like excited, but it turned out that he sent that pack of beats to Chris Brown, and Chris Brown happened to be in the studio with J Lo, and he ended up writing a song for J Lo, and so that kind of started that whole process of being involved with the people in his team, and then fast forward to Indigo. That was kind of random, honestly. I was speaking on a panel, a networking event, and at the end of the panel, you just you meet. I go out and like to meet a bunch of new talent, songwriters, artists, producers, and I met this one songwriter named Lyric from she's from the Dominican Republic, if I'm not mistaken, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm a songwriter, singer." And she sent me some of her stuff, and I was like, "Yo, this is like fire!" So I reached out to her, and we got in the studio, worked on some stuff, and just kind of started building from there. And then it turned out she ended up working with a producer named A1, who was working with Chris at the time, and he heard the songs and then played them for Chris, and then yeah, it just kind of spiraled into that, and that's how I ended up on the Indigo album.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. So, you just recently released your first drum kit. So tell
Yeah.
us about that and what all that entails.
Yeah, so yeah, the drum kit is called California Nights, the drum kit. So basically it's a drum kit for music producers, songwriters, composers that's inspired by my EP. I released the EP 2 years ago called California Nights, and it's basically drum sounds that I use for productions on that EP. I've used some of those drum sounds on stuff with Chris Brown, Justin Bieber, J Lo, and it's just kind of my catalog of stuff I wanted to kind of package into one thing. And then I do this series on my YouTube called Behind the Beat, where I go through and like break down like how I make the tracks to these songs. And for my EP, I included like the actual stems. And what the stems are is just basically the individual parts of the song. So the guitar part, the string part, the vocals. So as a new producer, I know when I was first starting out, like I was just so hungry to see like how are these people making these songs. So I would go through and try to like recreate, famous songs, and that's kind of how I taught myself. So I wanted to include these stems in that drum kit so people can follow along when they're on my YouTube as well. It's like, oh, this is how he, made that sound like this. And yeah, I thought it'd be cool to have something for the producer and composer community to mess with.
That's good, man. Always good to give back, to the next up and coming. And speaking of that, so I want you to kind of just imagine a younger version of you, boy or girl. If you could give some words of encouragement or some advice to someone who wants to basically do what you do or get started in music, what advice or encouragement would you give that person?
Yeah, I would definitely say try to start finding your tribe, find people that are like-minded. I think when I first started out, what helped me was the people that I was already surrounded with. We just continued to build. And those same people who I met 10, 15 years ago, we still create with each other. So definitely try to find your tribe. I would say network. I know it's cliche, but it is such the truth. And I think that there's many different ways to network, like just basically putting yourself out there. Like if there's a show going on in town, like find where other people that are like you are at. So if there's a show in town, go to your local shows. If there's networking events, go to a networking event. If you're a producer, find an artist or a songwriter to work with. If you're a songwriter, find a producer to work with. And just start meeting people. And once you kind of start meeting all those people, you guys are going to eventually start to come up together. I would also say be prepared because it's going to be a long journey. It definitely doesn't happen overnight. I moved to LA in 2013. So I've been out here almost 10 years and, just getting ready, just got nominated for my first Grammy. So it's a long journey. It's definitely not overnight. So just be prepared for that. And last I would say is go where everybody is at. So if you're in a small town, like get out, like why not? I know you have the internet and the internet may make things a little bit easier, but you got to get out there and be where people are at. So whether that's LA, Nashville, New York, Atlanta, especially if you're in Augusta. I moved to Atlanta before I moved to LA, and that's kind of where I got my grassroots starts at. And yeah, just being where everybody is at. You got to be in the action.
That's good. Thank you so much for that advice, man. And then once again, congratulations to you on your Grammy nomination. You are officially,
Thank you.
your title is Grammy nominated Charles Chizzy Stevens. Like that's
Yep.
for life. That's
Yep. Yeah. That's crazy to think about. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So congratulations. We are manifesting that win for you. Again, we Augusta's proud. We definitely salute you and everything that you're doing and continue the great work, man.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much again for joining us here on WJBF News Channel 6 Digital. And we'll see you next time.